If you're watching this video, then your life most likely looks like this. You wake up, you go to work. Same faces, same environment, same routine. You go to the gym, same workout, same people. You get home and you watch another self-improvement video. And you keep telling yourself this story that next year is going to be different to this year. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that you're not lazy, you're just stuck. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining why. Now, hands down, one of the most frustrating feelings in the world is waking up knowing that you could be doing more, but not knowing what that more is. I remember the first time I started watching self-improvement. It was like this rabbit hole that I went down where I knew for a fact by watching what people were telling me online that there was hope for me to change my life. Depending on what sort of content I was watching, when I was watching fitness videos, it was all about getting in shape. Dating videos, it's all about getting a partner. You know, looks maxing, there's all sorts of financial routes you can take online as well. But everyone was promising me this grandiose dream if I just listened to their advice and took their road. And what I've come to realize about self-improvement is if you're not careful, it becomes this rabbit hole that you can't get out of. You're constantly digging and chasing for a hypothetical scenario, which is never ever going to happen. See, what I've come to realize is that a lot of the content I was watching, I was always optimizing for only one metric. You know what I'm talking about. When you're watching fitness, at first you just want to get in a little bit of shape. And as you begin to start making progress, you set that goal a little bit higher. Now you're trying to get the perfect physique because you're seeing these fitness influencers online and you're trying to live up to that standard. Or maybe you're watching the dating content. I think every young man starts there. You're watching a bit and you get the courage to basically go up to a stranger and start a conversation. All of a sudden, you're now in this world where you realize that the life of your dreams is pretty much determined by your ability to take action. But then you get into this rabbit hole where you're overthinking. You get a partner or you start dating and you're overthinking every little metric and you're trying to be this perfect guy when you're going on the dating. See, a lot of us who watch self-improvement, our problem isn't that we're lazy. See, a lot of the content online will suggest to you that in order to improve your life, all you need is discipline. You just need to keep grinding at something over a long period of time and you're going to get there. That's true to an extent. But a lot of us who got into self-improvement, we got into it because we didn't necessarily have a problem with being lazy. We didn't know what to do. What was the one thing or the couple of things that we could do which could rapidly progress our life? Now, some of you guys are different. Some of you watching this are lazy. And if you're watching this and you're lazy, well, you're never going to get anywhere. But I would say the single most important thing you need in order to change your life is clarity. And that's what I'm going to be explaining in this video. Very recently, on Friday, the 17th of July, 26, for whoever's watching this at whatever period, I went to one of my close friends from university's wedding. And it's been a long time since I've seen him, probably just over a decade, over 10 years. And you know, it was good to see friends from back in the day who I haven't seen for a few years and we're catching up. And something that interested me about that meet is I met my friend's brother during the wedding. And I was having a conversation with him about what he does. And he's a few years older than me, him being about 38, 39, I'm 31. And he was telling me to, what I've come to realize is there's never going to be a job that I'm satisfied with. There's no one route that I can see currently in front of me that I'm ever going to be truly happy. So with that being said, the only thing that I can see worth even pursuing is pursuing something that I genuinely enjoy. And the question is, what's the thing that I actually enjoy? Now, this is funny because when I was going down the rabbit hole of self-improvement, one of the things you guys might have experienced is when you begin going down a particular road, if you're anything like me, then when you start running and you start doing what you need to do in order to get to the other side of whatever pursuit you're on, you become quite consistent. You get momentum. Let's say it's in the gym. You start lifting weight. You're going 5 days a week. You're getting heavier. You're doing compound lifts. Your diet is getting better. You're getting quite disciplined. But after a few weeks, months, it begins to get boring. And you realize the return on investment you thought you would have had with this path isn't actually happening. And when I was speaking to my friend's brother at this time, I realized that he was essentially saying, at first, my pursuit was I wanted a higher salary. I wanted to get paid more per year. That's, basically what we all think, right? If we get paid more, we can go on more holidays, we can buy more possessions, etc., etc. But he said, even though the money was increasing, nothing was changing internally for me. No happiness. Some of this he didn't say word for word. I'm just filling in the blanks with essentially what he was saying. So he realized what I need to figure out is, what do I actually want to do? What is worth me doing that's going to at least either one, be something I can continuously do and enjoy, even if it doesn't pay me as much as said career path, or what's something that I can do that can allow me to get the freedom that I'm actually looking for, so that I'm not just grinding for the money, but I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing and contributing. And this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of the video. See, we grow up and we're told always the next step. When we start school, there's another year to go into. When we get a car, there's a better car to buy. When we go on a certain holiday, there's a better holiday that we can go on. And what happens is we get used to this routine of always looking for the next thing. Always thinking the next thing is going to bring the happiness that we thought the last thing was going to bring us. And that's probably like what you're doing right now with your self-improvement content. You're watching the next video, constantly trying to refill that dopamine spike you had when you first got into this kind of content. But your problem is nothing to do with the lack of information. Your problem is nothing to do with the lack of what you should be doing, or more discipline, or more hustle. I truly believe your problem is clarity. You don't really know what route that you can walk down, which is specifically tailored to your personality. If you look at the sort of era we live in right now, we're living in a digital gold mine. I always describe this era sort of like the 1920s. If you ever seen films or TV shows or documentaries on the 1920s, it was sort of glitz and glam, Art Deco era. I think of New York, I think of things like The Great Gatsby, that sort of portray this life where everybody had money, everybody was partying, everything seemed like one big party. And that's sort of what you see when you're online, when you're looking at Instagram, social media. We got streamers, we've got educating content like mine, we've got influencers, we've got affiliate marketing, we've got high ticket sales. There's all sorts of roads you can take down in the digital space. And the impression that you get is that everybody's making some kind of money. Nobody's without, everybody's eating, everybody's traveling. And when you watch this content, you begin to ask yourself, why haven't I got these things? So it's very easy for you to assume that if I was to start doing these things, just traveling more, just getting that new car, that automatically your happiness is going to go up based off of that. But if you look at your life realistically, I want you to stop for a minute, pause this video and ask yourself, what are some of the moments that bring you great joy? Now, when you begin to look at your life honestly and you answer that question, I want you to think of the answer you gave. What are the things that genuinely give you joy? Are you a creative person like me? When I'm doing these kind of videos and I'm not scripted, I'm just speaking off of the cuff and I'm able to keep congruent. That's because I genuinely enjoy this. There's a passion behind it. But you guys have your own versions of things that you genuinely enjoy. And once you can pinpoint what you actually enjoy, you can ask yourself another question. What can I do that will allow me to recreate as many of these moments as possible? I recommend you pick something work-wise that allows you to do that. When you're with your friends, what sort of conversations do you genuinely enjoy having? And maybe some of you have low-level conversations. You just talk about sports, gossip. I don't think those sort of people watch self-improvement content. I guarantee if you watch this kind of video and you've gotten up to this point in the video, you probably have deeper conversations about life, about where you want to go, about your goals and other things like that. You're always looking for the next habit to take on board that's going to improve your life. But really and truly, the things that bring you joy are always little nuanced things which you can start doing today. The next question you got to ask yourself, out of the things that I enjoy doing, is there a path that allows me to do this particular thing and also make money? See, similar to my friend's brother at the wedding who said, I would rather pick something I enjoy doing and take a pay cut, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to be doing something for the rest of my life, I've got to at least mentally be able to bear it. Best case scenario, enjoy it. Or I need to find something that I enjoy and also allows me to make money. Even if that thing brings me stress, the underlying thing that I'm doing, I'm enjoying. Now that's how I got to content creation, right? I enjoy speaking about these subjects. I have long, in-depth conversations. I read books all the time. Leave a comment below if you want me to do a video on some of the books that I've read. I see all the same books, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, 48 Laws of Power, Rational Male. But, there's some books that I've read, which I believe not many people cover. So if you want me to make a video on that, leave a comment below. But anyway, when it comes to the things that you enjoy, you've got to really ask yourself, is there a route that I can go down that allows me to do what I enjoy, give me the financial freedom, or at least be something that can sustain the way I'm currently living? Because you see, when you're watching video to video to video, you're telling yourself this narrative that there's a scenario where one day you're going to find something that is going to click and you're going to only enjoy that, and that's it. You're jumping from one hustle to another. But if you're jumping from one hustle to another like me, I went from affiliate marketing, high ticket sales, TikTok shop. I tried a bit of Twitter, X, what it's called now. And I got to here, where I combined all the interests I was trying to take on board in those other avenues into one place. Long form YouTube content. Something that allows me to integrate my background in media, history, communication, sales, marketing, things that I actually study in my spare time. And you guys have a path like that yourselves. And until you can figure out what that path is, the self-improvement content is just going to be a dopamine spike. You're going to find yourself 30 years down the line still doing the same things. Matter of fact, ask yourself, since you started watching this content, what radical changes have actually happened in your life? For me, yes, I've kind of gotten in better shape than I was, but has that really made a big difference in my life? I think the biggest things that have made a difference in my life is actually finding my purpose, the things that I enjoy doing, and actually finding a way for me to do it. See, when I do these videos and the views aren't ideally where I want them to be, I can continue to make them because the motivation is through the enjoyment of doing it. And some days I don't want to pick up the camera and do it. Matter of fact, just before I started filming, I was trying to rationalize not doing this video. Once I started, I can't stop. It's just coming off the cuff. And you guys need to find something like this. See, every single time you wake up, you go to work, you're dreading the next day because you know the thing that you're currently doing, it's not moving you forward. You've been doing the same thing like me for years, weeks, months maybe. I don't know how long you've been watching this content, but really look at your scenario. What it would be better to do is get some sort of clarity. Get some sort of strong idea based off of who you are, your circumstances, your actual environment, and determine where to go next. See, a lot of gurus online will basically give you advice based off of their particular circumstances. And for some people, it does work. I watch a lot of these content creators, and they've given me good advice. A few of them I like is First Man, Owen Cook, Hamza even does some good stuff in the UK, Myron Golden, some of these guys, Michael Sartain, some of these guys I've integrated a lot of what they've told me. But I've never met one that has one particular message that completely resonates with me, and that's okay. My message might not resonate with you completely. But what my focus is we need to figure out you specifically. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And then pave a path based off of that. For some of you guys, I'm not going to lie, you can do a fitness transformation, but an extreme fitness transformation where you're the most lean, jacked person in the world isn't ideally the skill that you should be focusing on leveraging. See, I can get into the gym and I can be the biggest guy ever, but my communication is what people tell me is my strongest strength. This ability to speak confidently over a long period of time, that's usually the thing that people enjoy. Or my ability to break down big ideas and dissect them in such a way that the audience can listen to or my friends can understand. That's what I've been told over and over again, my ability to storytell. And in this golden era, the digital era that we're living in, there's more opportunities than ever. And AI has just basically every single year, every single month, it's getting better and better. How long before AI is able to replace the thing that you're currently doing? I believe once we begin to start having a bit more clarity, first looking at ourselves, our strengths, knowing ourselves inside and out, knowing our weaknesses, knowing the sides of us which we're probably never going to master, and knowing which things that we should double down on, we can set ourselves apart from the competition. See, AI can replace mediocre. AI cannot replace unique. Every single person online has a script you should follow when you're making content. Every single person online has a diet you should follow to get into shape. Every single person online has one particular or 5 books you should read, which changes your life. But how many of you guys are actually asking, does it fit my route? See, if you don't shape your life intentionally, someone will shape it for you. That's always going to be the case. So I'm going to leave that there, guys. Clarity is the most important thing. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. My name is Tino, and I'll see you in the next one.